What's up, you sexy son bitches? I tell you what, look at her. Have you guys looked at her? Jesus Christ. She's got her tires back. She's got all her parts, unlike Caitlyn Jenner. You know what I'm saying? She is fucking sexy. So we's gonna get into some of these questions y'all's been hitting me up about. Some of them I haven't been able to get to, so we're gonna touch on them now. The first one is people ask me, hey Stroker, how you hit the whoops? Which is, okay, a whoop section, if you don't know what it is one jump over and over again. For however long the fucking track crew feels like making them. Which sometimes it sucks for a rider. But, we're just gonna go over it. Basically, if you're just going through a whoop section and your rev limiter is not bouncing, you're doing it wrong. Okay, if you're on a 2-stroke and it's not screaming as loud as it can, you're doing it wrong. So make sure you got that son bitch bouncing or screaming and you're just hauling ass. Basically, when you just come out of a turn, okay, that is, you know, maybe as if it's supercross style track, it's not that far away from the whoops, so you're gonna come out of a turn and you're gonna start hammering through them, okay? If you just come out of that turn, you should be bouncing the rev limiter coming out of the turn. I'm just saying, okay? When you get to the woods, just before them, you's going wheelie. Now, I hope your bike's got enough balls. If you've got a 450 like me, or a bike with a lot of balls, and a sexy ass gripping back tire, it's going wheelie. You's gonna pop that front end up. Now, 90% of the time, you's gonna make it most of the way through on your back tire. And what scares me is y'all fuckers don't even know what you're doing. But it feels good, so you go with it. You's gonna wheelie through as far as you can. Now, eventually, if there's a long whoop section or they're big, your front tire is gonna come back down and plane the fuck out. Now, it's basically like you're skipping a rock. If you haven't skipped a rock, your childhood sucked. Okay? Obviously, you weren't poor. So, when you skip a rock, once it loses its momentum, it's gonna sink. Okay? It's heavy, it's gravity, so it's gonna go down. So, on these big ass bikes like this, they's heavy, so they's gonna go down. You're gonna hammer down harder. Once it starts to drop, you wrap it back even more. I don't care if you've got that son bitch all the way back, turn it there. Whatever's gonna keep your front end floating is what you won't do. So, once it comes down, hammer down harder, and you's gonna skip across the top. It's plain and simple. Your front tire is gonna start working with your back one. They's gonna go back and forth a little bit, and guess what? As soon as you figure out what exactly you're doing, you're gonna be out of them. Problem solved. Fix it. Another question I get, what kind of seat cover do I like to run? Do I run the bump seat or do I run the flat seat? I personally prefer the flat seat. I think them bump seats rob you. Now a lot of people is going to be like, well that bump seat, okay, it keeps you from sliding off the back of your dirt bike. Well, if you had a good tough grip on your grips, yous wouldn't slide off. Okay? The only problem it has, when I clean this sexy son bitch with all my products that I use, I usually get some on the seat. She does get slippery. Okay, but if you're sitting down the whole race, you need to just pull off the track, get the fuck out of the way for everybody else anyway. Okay? If you're standing up, your seat's not an issue. And basically, if you're going through turns, the only time you really want to be sitting on your seat, you're going to want to be up on the tank anyway. So, don't sit on your seat the whole goddamn time. People say, well, you could get a cool seat cover with cool colors and stuff. I could also start buying cats and kissing dudes, but I'm not gonna, okay? Why would I want to change something that matches the beast? Exactly, don't worry, I'll wait. So, next thing we're going to talk about, you guys have been asking me, you know, hey, how'd you get your tire back on, you know, and this and that, why didn't you do a video? Because it's fucking hard to hold an iPhone, okay, and put a back tire on a dirt bike, okay? You gotta spread your pads back apart. You know, you just gotta line shit up. You just gotta turn nuts. And it happens, okay? But I don't have 5 hands. I have 2. And they was working on Christine. But obviously you see, she is back put together. So we's happy, okay? Now, we's gonna go over a little bit some of the deals. Okay, you see the nut is on. Obviously, you just want to do that. You want to put this little cotter keystone bitch in there because on vibration masters like this, okay, this is like a vibrator times a million. Chicks sitting on dirt bikes that are 4 strokes with the limiters and stuff, she's gonna she's gonna make a mess on your bike. We're not gonna get into that because it's nasty. But so yeah, you just want to make sure that you grease your axle, okay? You want to grease your stick, okay? It's the same thing as if you find yourself a track slut and you take her back to the pits. You're just going to want her to polish the knob before you go opening the door, you know what I'm saying? Okay? So, you got to grease her up because you can't just raw dog it. That shit is going to break parts, wear stuff out. Your bearings are going to come apart in your wheel. And when you're hitting big jumps, something's gonna lock up, and guess what? You're gonna be trying to stop in midair, and it ain't gonna happen. So, make sure you put plenty of grease on your axles before you stick them in your machines. Okay, that didn't sound right. Make sure you put grease on your stuff, on your parts, before you put your tire back on your bike, okay? That sounded a little bit better, still not that good. But, so yeah, just make sure you use grease and stuff. Because if you grease stuff, it's going to last. I promise you that. So, there's a couple other things you guys want me to touch on, but this video, I think I touched enough. So, you guys liking all this stuff, sharing all this stuff, making the memes or memes or whatever the fuck it's called. I don't know. I can't read. I love all that shit. You guys tagging me in it. So yeah, you guys are tits. I'll see you guys on the next video. I'll be asking for some comments later. Make sure you guys are adding me on Snapchat, which is Richie720. I see all you motherfuckers out there doing your thing. Instagram's Richie7200. And y'all know my Stroker page, Stroker720, my bad. So, make sure you guys have all your friends like it. And I will see you guys on the next video. Stay tits.